everyone and welcome back to Delicado. My name is Ben and I'm the sommelier here. And in the lead up to Easter we're looking at a couple of different wines, and today we're looking at vintage port. Now a lot of people don't drink vintage port simply because it tends to be generally expensive, and I think most people's idea of vintage port is the classic crust and dust covered bottles, big bottles that is, pulled out of cellars towards the end of the night and shared amongst friends. But if you actually had to go and purchase one in a store, well, what do you do? What do you look for? Nowadays you can find bottles like this in Australia quite commonly. That's if you're looking for the authentic port from Portugal. There's a lot of local producers, of course, making fortified wines as well, and they do come in a range of different size bottles. I really like these ones. They're authentic, they are from Portugal. You can see the DO sticker there. One of the things with vintage ports is that they are designed to age, and they were fortified for that very reason. Generally the wines are made of a blend of indigenous Portuguese grapes. They're made in lagars, which are essentially like concrete swimming pools where the grapes are all thrown in and then they're trodden and then gravity fed into a tank. They are fortified with neutral grape spirit, and they're usually sort of produced when the grapes are really ultra ripe, so there's a lot of residual sugar, and that grape spirit is added before all the sugar is fermented into alcohol. So on this one the alcohol is 20%, and that's essentially what a fortified wine is. It's raised from its normal alcohol level by adding some neutral grape spirit. Now these are designed to age, and typically this could age for 10, 20, 30 years. When you actually consume that wine, then you would be decanting it and there would be a heavy, thick sediment or crust. And the wine itself would have a lovely, still crimson hue, and it would still be quite fruity, a little bit heady from the extra alcohol. Let's take a look at it now. I like to actually drink them when they're quite young. With vintage port you can drink them within a year or two of when they're released. Then they sort of shut down, a little bit like white wines like Riesling and Semillon do. They just sort of lose their aromatics and become a little bit dumb. These wines act in the same manner, so drink them. This is an 04 vintage, was probably released last year. Drink it for 2, 3, 4 years and then put it away and come back to it in 5 or 10 years once it's gone through a little bit of evolution. It's quite deep coloured, which is what you expect from young vintage port. If you smell it, there's an amalgam of red and black fruit flavours, loads of spice and sweet sort of caramelly flavours as well. And then you just get loads of tannin, fruit concentration, sugar, and that's why I think it's quite a good match with chocolate, especially as we are thinking about Easter. The red berry and blackberry flavours really lend themselves to sort of any macerated berry dessert, or, you know, I think of things like cherry ripes, those sort of flavours. It's deep, sort of liqueur fruits and then chocolate over the top. So think about the things like that that you might enjoy at Easter, and if you are looking around for something to try that's a little left field, then go for a little bottle of vintage port. Salut!